Hello, everybody, and welcome to VDL Season 8 Draft Breakdown. My name is Matt. I am the coach of the New England Roggenrola, as you probably know at this point in time. And guys, we are here with Season 8 of the VDL. This is so exciting. We are obviously in the Jirachi division, which is our Wi-Fi division. We are back to 16 coaches this time, and we have an absolutely stacked roster of coaches this year. It is so exciting, and we're back to upload required, by the way, which is great because that means everyone gets to upload the videos. We get to see everyone. I'm so excited to talk about my team too. I think it's super interesting. If you do not know, and there will be a link in the description of this video to what I'm about to tell you, this was a live draft. What that means is we all drafted within a 4-hour block, essentially. Every one of our Pokemon, every coach had 3 minutes per pick. So we did it on stream. It was a ton of fun. I was in the background doing the graphics. Vortex and Tog hosted. It was a blast. We had a great time. If you want to go watch that stream, it is on the VDL official YouTube channel, but it's also going to be linked down in my description, along with links to hopefully all of the coaches. As long as it's in them, I have to set up that paste bin. But without further ado, let's talk about draft plan a little bit, because I had 4 minutes to pick, but I didn't use that most of the time. But that's because I was working on the stream in the background. But I knew I was pick 15. Originally, I was pick 7. 7 out of 16 is very bad, and we had like 115 points. Oh, other thing, Terra rules. This is 16 coaches, like 110, 115 points, one of the two. I think it was 110. And it's open Terra. One Terra captain from 13 points and below, and we had a handful of Terra restrictions. So, like, I'll talk about the ones that weren't picked, essentially. But there was things like Azumarill could Terra cap, Hisuian Gudra could, Galarian Zapdos could, Armarouge. A couple that were picked were like Terra Kilowattrel was big, Terra Halucha, Terra Mamoswine. But then we banned a handful. Like we banned Ceruledge, Garganacl, Gengar, Iron Crown, Keldeo, Zarude, obviously those type. We banned the Trappers and the Shell Smashers, and then a couple like Sandy Shocks we didn't allow. Terrakion we didn't allow to Terra ban. Revavroom, same there. Obviously biggest Bathra. So last season in Ubers, I got a lot of my wins with my Terra Captain. So I knew I wanted a good Terra Captain. 13 points below, and I think there was a couple great ones, and I was in a good spot. I was in 7th originally, but I didn't like that spot. That's awful. I traded with 6-foot hacks to get 15th out of 16, and you might be like, why would you want a later round? Well, there was no like one really good mon I was looking at that was going to fall to me in 7th, and 15th is really strong because it gives you the wheel removed by one position. And if you don't know what that means in draft, it means it's a snake draft, so 15th picks and then 16th picks twice, and then it's back to me, 15 and then 14, 13. So I essentially, for the entire draft, including my first 2 picks, I get to pick back to back, meaning I don't need to worry about picking one Pokemon and having another one that I want that pairs really well with it. I don't have to worry about that getting taken, which is fantastic. It also allows me to plan throughout all of the other 28 picks between me again. And I thought it was going to be really valuable in a live draft specifically. And with that said, I knew that my first pick, I needed it to be something reliable, and I didn't need it to be like my hyper offense Killmon. I wanted something that was like a hyper roll compression. I wanted hazards, I wanted remove roll, I wanted pivoting. We're going to get right into it, guys. We got Iron Tread round 1. 15 points, so obviously this is not typically like a round 1 Pokemon, but it does go in round 2. Round 3 is almost even late for it, and I've seen this picked up round 1 before. We got Talladega. I have won a league with Iron Treads before, which is fantastic. This mon is awesome. Ground and Steel typing is great offensively, with some really decent stats, right? 106 base speed is really solid, right? It breaks out 100 mark, and it's faster than those 105s, which I think is a good thing to note. 120 physical defense with 90 HP is very solid. We have a handful of weaknesses, right? Like we're weak to fire and fighting and ground. and water. But other than that, we have a billion resistances. We'll talk about that in a second. 112 attack with a ground with Earthquake, Iron Head, and then a bunch of good physical stab. Like we have Supercell Slam, we have Knockoff, we have Ice Spinner. We have even things like Steel Roller, which might come in handy at one point. Is really, really strong. He can hit super hard. He can take a lot of hits. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 resistances and 2 immunities, which is unbelievable. Right? We resist a bug, dragon, fairy, flying, normal, psychic, rock, steel. Oh, I guess it's 8. That's 8 resistances. That's crazy. And 2 immunities. So this dude is just an absolute tank. But the reason why I got it this early was because this is, if not the best, the second best rapid spinner in the league. I think Terapagos is the best rapid spinner. Some people think Great Tusk is the best rapid spinner. If anything, this is a agreed third. And I thought having a great rapid spinner, a Pokemon that has a bunch of resistances, getting an early steel type, getting Volt Switch pivoting, and Stealth Rockers all on my first pick allowed me to be way looser with the rest of this draft, right? I didn't need to get a good rocker round 3. I had one. I didn't need to get great removal anywhere else in this draft. Obviously, I want one more remover. I like to have 2, and I like them to be different types of removal, like a Rapid Spin and a Defog. That's not always possible. But to get this pick 1 means I can just pick strong Pokemon for the rest of this draft, and I don't need to worry about a lot of the other tech support. Speed of which, getting knockoff on this guy is actually really huge too. Is there anything else I'm forgetting about him? I don't think so. Volt Switch is just so nice on this dude. Really great stats. Oh, and like 70 special defense is solid. He can also run. You see on ladder a lot of specially offensive sets. I don't think that's the right play for this guy, but Earth Power Volt Switch sets are a real thing. So Charge, I mean, it's just reliable, right? It's not super flashy. It's not going to be like the best Pokemon on our team, I don't even think. I think it's going to come every week and have a role to play. But with that, I knew going into the draft, I wanted to get my Dragon Fairy Steel Core as early as possible. And I had one lined up. I had Iron Treads. I had one of the Laddie twins. Didn't really care which one. And then a third pick, but I still got that one, surprisingly. So we'll talk about it in a minute. But I thought Iron Treads plus one of the Laddies was incredible. Their weaknesses just like totally match with each other. And it's fantastic. But I mentioned I wanted a good Terra Captain early. And there was one Terra Captain that I was looking at that I didn't even think would make it to me. I figured at least one coach would pick it up. Because a lot of people thought we were going to ban it. A lot of people thought it was the best Terra Captain. So I knew at that point Roki, who was 16th. Well, I didn't know at that point, but I hoped he wasn't going to get it, and it turned out I was correct. He got a Terra Mamoswine round 1. So we picked up Terra Hydreigon for 12 points. We got big rocks for it here. Hydreigon is rad. First off, typing Dark and Dragon is actually really, really strong, right? We have a couple of key weaknesses. We have a 4 times weakness to Fairy. We're still weak to Fighting, just like Treads. We're weak to Dragon and U-Turn and Ice. But this with Iron Treads, let's look at it, right? We resist the water types. Treads doesn't like taking. Treads is able to somewhat beat the ice types with Steel Stab. We have Levitate on Hydreigon to help with the ground weakness from Treads. Same with we resist fire before Terra. Treads resists Fairy and Dragon and Bug that we're all weak to. So like the only thing is really Fighting that we don't love between the two. However, as a Terra Captain, this Mon is ridiculous. I want to get Pokemon Showdown actually pulled up here real fast. Stat-wise, 98 base speed, really solid. That's like the perfect speed for a good Scarf user, right? Because that's putting you faster than all of the really fast Mons. Those like 85 base speeds, sometimes the Scarf doesn't do it for you. This is putting us faster than all of the Scarf users. Dark and Dragon Stab is fantastic. Hits everything except for Fairy types realistically, and we still have things like Flash Cannon. On the special side, we have Focus Blast, we have Fire Blast, Hydro Pump, we have Earth Power, Flamethrower, we do have Surf, like we have a bunch of good stabs. And on the physical side, which we have a 105 base physical attack and Dragon Dance, we get some crazy stuff actually. We get Head Smash, we get Earthquake, we get obviously Outrage, we get Zen Headbutt for fighting types, we get U-Turn, which is a great pivoting option on this mod. And guys, we get Terra with this thing. It's ridiculous with Terra, especially having Levitate. Levitate Terra users are fantastic. I can go Terra Electric and I have no immunities. I can go Terra Steel, and now Dark Dragon Steel Stab is hitting almost every Pokemon for either super effective or neutral damage, and I'm only weak to like fighting at that rate, and I have plenty of ways to deal with fighting up later in this draft. You'll find out. Stat-wise, right, 98 base speed, we talked about it, but then 92 HP and 90 in both of his defenses. This guy gets Stealth Rocks too, I'm pretty sure. He does. No Roost anymore, which is obviously a bummer. Lost Roost. But maybe he never even had, I don't know. But this guy can run defensively very easily. I can run Fizz Def Dragon Dance. Physically offensive Dragon Dance very easily. I can run Specs, Scarf, Sub Nasty Plot. I have so many options, and now throwing a Terra on this guy, like I'm hitting every 125 base special attack. I put any type Terra Blast on there. Even I can just go like Terra Fire Blast. I'm immune to the ground type moves, so it's just water types that I don't like. And then I'm nuking everything. It's incredible. I think this Pond actually going to go so hard. The only worry I have for it is if I'm going to be able to bring out its full potential, essentially. But I'm confident. Anyway, we talked about wanting a Dragon Fairy Steel core early. I got my good Dragon. I got my Steel type. I now have to wait 28 turns, which is a lot. And Fairy types, I feel like I never get a good Fairy type. I get Clefable a lot, and I do love Clefable. It's a great mon. I also get Florges a lot, which it's really fun, but I think it's getting worse by the day. But there was one I knew I wanted, and it was a Water and Fairy type. I wanted Primarina, but I knew it would get picked up. So my backup was a Azumarill. However, somehow, guys, Prim got to us. I do not understand how no one picked up Prim 3 full rounds in. In a system like this, in a live draft, Prim is so unbelievably reliable, and you can do so many things with it. You can pick it and forget about it. The fact that it got back to me is crazy. I think there are some other great early Dragon Fairy Steel cores. I think we have the best one, comfortably. Prim, Water and Fairy type is a fantastic offensive typing. We are weak to electric types. What doesn't care about electric types? Both of my first 2 picks. We are weak to grass types. What doesn't care about grass types? Both of my first 2 picks. Poison type, same with the Iron Treads, and I'm sure I'm going to run Terra Steel Hydreigon often. So the 3 big weaknesses this guy has covers everything my first 2 mons have. Now what does this cover for those? I'm resisting the fighting type moves. I'm resisting the fire type move for Treads. I am super effective against the ground types. I'm resisting the ice type moves that neither of them resist. It gives me another water resistance for the Tread. Dude, it's just these 3 work so well together, and Prim's one of those mods I can run offensive or defensive. I've been really enjoying like running hyper offensive builds. I feel like it's been working for me lately. And Prim's one of those Pokemon where I can run it Specs. I can run it Scarf if I need to. I can run it Assault Vest offensive. Or I run like max HP, max Fizz Def one week, and I'm still doing like 40% with Sparkling Aura to neutral Pokemon. Like Prim, it's 126 special attack, hits super hard. 80 HP, 74 Fizz Def, so it's not super bulky on the physical side, but it's got a great defensive typing. And then 116 special defense. It's a really solid special defensive wall. So now we have a really good Fizz Def wall, a really good Spidef wall, and this like neutral wall in Hydreigon in the middle. And then we have a crazy special attacker, a crazy mix attacker, and a decent enough physical attacker and Tread. Like we've hit everything we need to hit in these first 3 picks. Not to mention, tennis is happening right now apparently. Prim gets Flip Turn, which I actually think is really cool. With 60 base speed, it's slower than a lot of those offensive threats, but still faster than those super bulky, annoying ones. Like, we're going to be able to outspeed things like Amoonguss, we're outspeeding the Slowkings, we're outspeeding Clodsires, and we're able to hit those for super effective damage with things like Ice Beam and Energy Ball and Sparkling Aura, and then we got Moonblast to just nuke stuff. I don't think Prim can heal itself, but we do get Aqua Jet. I don't think we're ever going to want to run Aqua Jet. We also get Haze. Prim with Haze actually I think is going to be really great. I don't have an unaware user this draft. So setup sweepers obviously get a little bit scary, but I can run super bulky Prim with Haze, and that's a legit set. I mean, at the end of the day, I can get super creative with this mon, or I can go Choice Specs Moonblast and kill 80% of the board within 2 hits. Like, that this mon is just so strong. Okay. I have been kind of saving my points up until this point, and that was not necessarily intentional. There wasn't like anything super strong I was going for. I feel very happy, like having this like kind of this isn't like a mid tier balanced team. Like these are like higher points of that, but 15 points being my highest is crazy. But I was looking at the top of the board, and I'm like, okay, I want speed and I want power, and there's not a ton. And even the top of the board right now after the draft, there's 3 Pokemon available 16 points and higher. That's it. Everything else is taken. But I was looking around and I was like, okay, speed, I'd love some offense, I'd love a little bit more hazard support. So we got Deoxys Speed round 4. Now, my thoughts on this Pokemon are it should never be allowed to be picked this late. It's very, very good. I think it's very unreliable and overpriced. However, I think it fits this team really well. So I use this on OU ladder all of the time. I love it as like an end game focus as like nasty plot 3 attacks. It is very strong in that regard. People try and relegate this to like lead spike sash. I do not think that's how you play this. I think you play this mon late game if you need to as a cleaner. You can play it early game as a spec sweeper, or mid game as a spec sweeper, or you can do it early game as like a spike setter if you need this to not kill things. However, most of the time you want it to kill things. 180 base speed. That is the second fastest Pokemon in the game behind Regieleki. And I'm not really worried about Regieleki. 50 HP is very bad. However, 90 in both of his defenses is actually really solid bulk. This Pokemon is so fast that often I can invest a little bit in speed, a lot in my offensive stats, and then a good amount into bulk too, and I can live a couple of hits. And then we have 95 in both of its offenses, physical and special. You do often see this as a special attacker with like Ice Beam Psycho Boost. And then like Focus Blast for the steel types that it can't hit, which is very, very strong. Psycho Boost is 140 base power, psychic type move. 90% accurate, important to know. It can miss, and it lowers both of my lowers my offenses or my defenses. Psycho Boost lowers my special attack by 2. Okay, so it's similar to like a Make It Rain type vibe, but or it's really Draco Meteor, but psychic type. It's sick. It's really, really strong, and with Nasty Plot, I can Nasty Plot up and then click it twice, and I'm not losing any power. So the only thing that beats this dude is Dark types, and I've got like Drain Punch on the physical end. I've got Focus Blast. I've got maybe Fairy Move. Do I get D-Gleam? Actually, I don't think that's true. I get like a ton of physical fighting moves. Yeah, okay. No D-Gleam, but like I do get Brick Break, I do get Drain Punch, I do get Super Power. Let's look at it on the physical side real quick. Category Physical Power. Like, we're getting Super Power, we're getting Extreme Speed, obviously. I don't think I'll need that on this one, but it is available. I get Poison Jab, I get all of the Elemental Punches, things like Stomping Tantrum, I get Knockoff, right? And then it's all that super fast power. Like, this one can outspeed Scarf Garchomp, naturally, which is crazy to me. This is outspeeding a base 102 Pokemon with a Choice Scarf. On the setup side, we get Agility. I don't know if we'll ever need that, but we get Calm Mind, we get Iron Defense, we get Light Screen, and Reflect. This is a fantastic screen user. We do get Nasty Plot, we do get Recover. We also get Pain Split, which I think is interesting. We get, obviously, Spikes and Stealth Rock, which is fantastic. This is another great hazard setter. We get really, really fast Taunt, really fast Thunder Wave, really fast Trick. Don't sleep on Teleport on this mon either, by the way. If I'm running this super bulky with like Calm Mind, Iron Defense, Storage Power, or whatever, I hit a couple things, like weakens it down, their Steel Tech comes in, I get a slow Teleport out on me, it's not doing anything, and I'm getting a great pivot into Iron Treads, or my next pick, which is great. And we talked about the fighting types that I don't love. I got Prim and I got Dio. Like, now fighting types are nothing. 19 points is far too expensive for this Pokemon, and Psychic is a bad typing. However, I didn't really need my points anywhere, so I was okay overspending for a Pokemon like this because I got my first 3. Next, we got Blaziken. This is sick. We got Uncle Iroh here. Blaziken's cool. Blaziken's such a rad mon that I have literally never used, ever. The only Pokemon, by the way, I've used on this entire team is Iron Treads. Everything else I've never used before, which is kind of sick. I did that with my VDL draft too. Okay, so Blaziken, this is a Pokemon that's kind of flown under the radar in the last couple seasons. Speed Boost is absolutely allowed, which is great. Blaziken used to be banned at draft leagues with speed boost. You could only run it with Blaze, but now it's 16 points with speed boost, and I understand why it's not any higher, right? It doesn't get a ton of great coverage, and it's a little bit difficult to set up. But this thing, as a breaker, man, is unbelievable. Obviously, speed boost, right? 80 base speed with speed boost at +1 means I'm outspeeding a lot of things naturally. At +2, I'm outspeeding the Scarfers. Which is great. So you do often see this with 3 attacks protect or 2 attacks sword stance protect, which is another thing. Running sword stance and physical offense with that 120 base physical attack. It can just nuke Mons. Defensively, it's not fantastic. It is 80, 70, 70, so it's not like great, but it does get Will-O-Wisp, which I think people are kind of going to sleep on the fact that it gets. I also get a good amount of priority with this mod. I do get Vacuum Wave, and it has a 110 base special attack. So if I don't want to run this physical sword stance, I can run like Overheat or a Sphere Vacuum Wave type jazz. Get U-Turn. This is another pivoting option. So now we have so much momentum on this team. I think people are sleeping on that. We have U-Turn Blaziken, we have Volt Switch Treads, we have Teleport on Dio, and we have Flip Turn on Prim. And we have U-Turn on Hydreigon. With every single Pokemon right now, actually, does every Pokemon I get some form of pivoting? Almost. Not exactly, but we do almost. Wow, I didn't know that actually. That's crazy. But fighting fire type, right? This is really helpful for the steel types. We struggled a little bit against steel types. Actually, almost a lot of it against steel types right now. So this can just nuke 90% of them. I mean, you get the gist. It's Blaziken. Like, I think it's going to be cool. Is it going to be the best Pokemon on team? No. Is it going to come every week? Probably not. When it comes, is it going to be scary? Yes, absolutely. Next, guys, we got Sawsbuck. I know this is weird. Halfway through the draft. This is our 6th out of 10. We dropped down to 1 point Sawsbuck. Now hear me out. There's 2 reasons I got this. One, it's a little bit of a meme pick. If you do not know, I lost to Sawsbuck in our low tier season a couple seasons ago to Common Boy to Serene Grace Headbutt Flinches. Just a couple of weeks ago, I did a little tournament with my friends, and I lost to a Serene Grace Headbutt Sawsbuck. I wanted a grass type. I was also planning on getting Trevenant, by the way, in this draft. It got stolen from me. I wanted a grass type. I actually think Sawsbuck is kind of cool. Obviously, it's not great at 1 point, but it does have a lot going for it. First off, it has 3 good abilities. One is Chlorophyll if I want to run like a Sun team in here some week. I don't 100% know why I would do that, but I can do that. I can get super fast with 95 base speed. I'm outspeeding freaking everything. 2, Sap Sipper. I was like, oh, this dude's going to be so good with Sap Sipper because all of the Ogerpon forms are going to be picked up. Dude, there's 3 Ogerpon forms left in the board. It's only Wellspring that got picked up. I'm so mad. I was like, this is going to be such a good Ogerpon check. It's not. But then we got Serene Grace Headbutt. So if a team doesn't have a Ghost type and has frail Steel types, or Steel types I can beat, this one's going to run in. I mean, I don't need to talk about it a ton. You know what it does. I actually think it's going to come to a couple games and be solid. It has like a lot of utility. First off, stat-wise, it's not that bad. Same exact defenses as Blaziken. 80, 70, 70. 95 base speed is actually really solid on this team. It fills a hole I didn't have yet that I then tie in a minute. But that's a really solid speed tier. Especially for Choice Scarf user if I need to. And then 100 base attack. Like, it hits pretty hard if I need it to. It also gets T-Wave. Let's look. Let's look. Named Firework. Right, so 3 good abilities. Right, it has Sap Sipper. I don't even know if I said that. It's got like good coverage, right? It's got Mega Horn for dark types. It's got high horsepower for steel types. I've got Petal Blizzard, which is a pretty solid, just like physical grass type move. Play Rough, Wild Charge for flying types. I get Throat Chop and Headbutt, Horn Leech. I get Trailblazer if I want to boost the speed. Obviously, like it actually is kind of like got some great coverage. And then status-wise, like I get Baton Pass, or I get, this is technically another pivoter. I get Agility if I want to get super, super fast and run Headbutt nonsense. But I get Leech Seed. I get Light Screen, Synthesis, T-Wave, Sword Stance. I can run Double Dance on this and actually like make it work. I can set my own sunny day. I don't know. I think this mod's cool. Is it great? No. But like, Is it cool? Yes. Okay, we got Ndidi. So these first 6 I drafted in that order in the live draft. These last 4 picks, outside of my next pick, I all changed up in Grace. Originally, I don't even remember exactly what this was, and nor was it in this position, but this is where it is right now for you. This was technically originally Slowking, which I don't know what I picked up here. I think I got like Slowking last pick type deal. But this was originally Slowking, which I thought was cool with the Prim. But I was starting to BP, and I felt like I just didn't have enough going for me. And then we talked about size spam with the DDDO. Now, do I think size spam is fantastic? No. Is it really good when I also have Pokemon like Trez, Hydreigon, Prim, Blaziken? Yes. A lot of size spam teams fall into the trap of it's a size spam team with a couple other pieces. This is not a size spam team. It has a size spam mode, which I think makes it actually very, very strong. And DD's a 6-point Psychic and Normal type, so we're doubling up both of those typings technically, which is really funny. But it's got good stats, 95 base speed with the Scarf, it's great, as we talked about the Sawsbuck. 105 base special attack with Expanding Force. If you don't have a Dark type, you get hit pretty hard. Even Steel types don't love taking that. Because obviously we have the Psychic Surge, allowing us to set up the Psychic Terrain. I can't get hit by priority moves, which is fantastic against like Dio and against setup Blaziken and against setup Hydreigon, which is really cool. Like Comfy's can't like do anything to us when I bring Ndidi. And we do get access to both forms. We get the offensive male form and the defensive female form. But this also gives us a Healing Wish user, which I think is really cool. Ndidi, I don't actually think gets Baton Pass, but it does get Healing Wish, so I'm counting that as momentum. So far, everything technically has a form of momentum. But we get Healing Wish, right? So I can bring, and probably every time this comes, it's bring the same set. Expanding Force, Dazzling Gleam, Mystical Fire, Healing Wish with a Choice Scarf. But it's here to set up the terrain for things like Dio, which Dio gets Expanding Force, but also I can just run Psycho Boost if I want to. And this is like one of the better revenge killers. I'm going to run Scarf 7 out of 8 weeks, and in that 1 week I'm going to run Choice Specs Expanding Force against a team that doesn't have a good Dark type. And if a Dark type doesn't want to switch and take a D-Gleam, I am nuking that team. Even then, if my special attack's not lowered and I'm hitting with a Specs D-Gleam, that's a 2-co and I'm probably faster. This is just a support Pokemon for the rest of my team, but I think it fits this team very, very nicely and actually fits really well with my Thundurus pick, which I think is cool. I needed a little bit more speed, I needed a little bit more offense, I wanted a flying type, and I wanted an electric type. All of the things added up for Thundurus Incarnate. Now, I've used Thundurus Therian before, and I actually really enjoyed it. I've used it both. It can run both physical and special, and this plays slightly differently, but is relatively similar in its damage output, I think. So, stat-wise first. 111 base speed is actually really good. That puts something between Iron Treads and Dio. Speed-wise is kind of weird, right? This is my second fastest Pokemon behind Dio, so I don't actually have anything that breaks that 115 mark outside of Dio, but I think that's okay because Dio is just so good at that. But this is 111, so it's a little bit faster than Treads. It's activating those 110s. It's speed time with things like Scream Tail, which is great. 125 special attack and 110 physical attack. That's pretty good. Like 125 special attack, same as Hydreigon, 1 point less than Prim, and 115 base attack is only 5 points less than Blaziken. Like, it hits pretty hard. I can run a bunch of cool sets. This guy like has a lot of cool options. First off, Psychic Seed, Prankster, Bulk Up, Acrobatics. That's coming at some point. Don't you fret. But on the physical side, we have things like Hammer Arm. We have Hammer Arm Eject Pack sets, which have been really cool with this mon if I want to get acrobatics damage. We have Super Cell Slam. We obviously don't have great flying stab. We do get Fly, so if we want to, we can run Power Orb Fly. We get Zen Headbutt. We get U-Turn and Volt Switch. This is another great pivoter. We get things like Lash Out if it's like an Intimidate user. We get Knock Off, which is fantastic. On the special side, it's probably better. We get, obviously, like Wild Bolt Storm, which is cool. It's a signature move. I don't know if I'm ever running it over Thunderbolt, but fair. Sludge Wave, Psychic, Sludge Bomb. We get Dark Pulse there. We get Flash Cannon. We do get Volt Switch, obviously, and Snore, which is really cool against, like, Ghost types. And then status-wise, speaking of the Prankster, we obviously get Bulk Up, but we get Prankster Bulk Up. We get Prankster Nasty Plot, Prankster Agility, Prankster Sub, which is really, really cool. We can always guarantee that we're not going to get like Toxic or Burned or something. Prankster Taunt, Prankster T-Wave. Like, that's all really, really scary for my opponent to deal with. And then we get Defiant. Defiant's great for two reasons. One, it stops defoggers. Like, if I'm physically offensive Thundy, with like agility, and then like if I'm like what's the white herb? If I am agility, white herb, Defiant, Thundy, I'm coming in and getting a +2 attack boost. I'm getting rid of my evasive drop, and which essentially means I'll have acrobatics at that rate. I guess I could just run it, no item. And then I'm really fast, I'm hitting super hard, and I can sweep teams. I actually think Thundy's rad. Like, is it going to come every week? No, because it does really struggle against a couple specific Pokemon. It struggles against a lot of Steel types and a lot of Dragon types. But Steel types still don't like taking Thunderbolts, essentially, and struggle against Ground types a little bit. But I do get Grass Knot, yes? I do, yes, get Grass Knot, which is great. I don't know, Thundy's just really cool, and I think it works really well with this team, right? We had a couple ground weaknesses. We had Treads and Blaziken that don't like taking ground type moves, so we have an immunity. Next, okay, full disclosure, this was Revavroom for week 1. I between drafted Alolan Muck, and then I ran into a problem, which is something I've talked about a lot in draft. Fire type is very undervalued because Fire type resisting Fairy is something that a lot of people don't remember. But they don't remember that because there's a lot of Fire types that don't resist Fairy. Let me show you. Some of the best Fire types are Chi-Yu, which does not resist Fairy. There are Fire Dragon types, like Gouging Fire, does not resist Fairy. Blaziken, Fire Fighting, does not resist Fairy. Incineroar, right? Like, there's a bunch of, like, really popular Fire types in draft that aren't a Fairy chick. So you can't have that and a Poison type that doesn't resist Fairy, which is why Alolan Muck doesn't work. Originally, I picked up Revavroom because it's a Fairy check. I hate that Pokemon. It makes me really mad. I don't think it's good without Terra. I think it's objectively bad without Terra. And that was the Pokemon typing I was excited for the most. And then I heard it was going to be a car, and I got super excited. And they gave me the Flintstones machine, and it makes me mad. So after week 1, which I've already played, and I will not tell you the result, obviously, Revavroom will not be coming, I traded it for Toxapex. So we're just going to talk about Toxapex. Is this a great Pokemon? No. But is it pretty good? Yeah. Poison Water type gives me a grounded Poison type, and it gives me a really defensive water that opens up Primarina to be an offensive water type. I always think it's beneficial to have an offensive water and a bulky water. Pokemon like Prim that, or you can have just a bulky water, but you shouldn't have just an offensive water type. Prim wants to be that offensive water type, and it can't all the time without it. We get Regenerator on Toxapex, which is fantastic, especially against physical attackers. If we're a Rocky Helmet, we come in, we take a little bit of damage with 152 defense and 142 special defense, which is ridiculous. Take a little bit of damage, give them Rocky Helmet chip, and we swap right out. Offensively, I mean, this Pokemon's not here for offensive damage, but I do get like Gunk Shot and Ice Bender and Liquidation on the special side, obviously. I get Hex, which is actually really interesting. There's a Pokemon that likes poisoning things. Hex and Acid Spray, which is cool. Also, like Chilling Water. We actually get like a couple cool Infestation. And this guy's kind of sick, actually. That's actually kind of rad. But this is not here offensively. This is here that, like, yeah, don't let us set up Sweeper in against this Pokemon, essentially, because I'm here and I'm super passive, but he's very good at what they do passively. Baneful Bunker, if they make contact, I poison them. We obviously get Toxic, but we also get Iron Defense, so we are great against physical attackers. We do have Recover to heal in the field, along with Regenerator switching out. We get Toxic and Toxic Spike, so this is our Toxic Spike user, which is a very, very good one at that. Like, we don't like taking Psychic type moves or Ground type moves, but we're so defensive anyway that we can always guarantee a lair. And yeah, this is Regen Pokemon. Last pick, we got Drifblim. This is Dead Zeppelin, probably my favorite nickname of the season. She is rocking. She's really cool. Okay, so I don't really remember what this pick was originally, because I didn't have a needy originally. But after talking with BP, this was Hitmonlee. Then I convinced Tom to change his team for the better, and he dropped Drifloon, and I get to pick up Drifloon. Oh, I had like a 4-point ghost type at some point because I needed one. But I got Drifloon, and this is awesome. This is so like crazy that I got this. First off, Ghost Flying is a fantastic typing. A handful of weaknesses, yes, but one, it covers that ground weakness that we keep adding to with Toxifex. Now we have a fighting immunity. Now we have a normal immunity. So we're not going to lose to like Bandit E-Speeds and stuff, which is really cool. But this Pokemon in terrain is incredible. The ability you're going to see 90% of the time. It does get Aftermath, which is cool, but is Unburden. Unburden means when I use my item, not when I lose my item, so Knockoff doesn't activate it. But if I eat a berry, or I eat a seed, or it's like an eject pack or something, which that wouldn't work, my speed is doubled on the spot, which is great. So if I hold a Psychic Seed, which raises my special defense, by 1 when I'm in Psychic Terrain. I switch in, I eat it. I now have +1 Spadaf, times 2 speed, and I get Calm Mind at that rate. So I can run like super physically defensive Drifblim with Calm Mind, Psychic Seed, Strength Sap, Air/Shadow Ball in like 6-out teams. It's ridiculous. This Mon has unbelievable sweeping power that is 100% untapped, and this is a Pokemon. This is one of the top 3 Pokemon I've wanted to try and draft. I wanted to try it without terrain, and now I get it in terrain. Dude, that's ridiculous. I think this is gonna be so strong. This video is already going on long enough. So with that being said, I hope you like my team. Please let me know in the comments what you think. I know this was a little bit scuffed, but that's okay. That's how it rolls. I hope you like the colors. I'm going to try and do more edited team builders, but not for a couple weeks, so I'm moving very shortly. But with that being said, I don't know. I got nothing to say. Peace out, y'all.